All right, hi everyone. This is Chapter 1, Lesson 3, Convert Unit Rates. As you can see, we have our Convert Unit Rates title right here at the page. Now in this corner, I have a table that actually says customary units of measure and metric units of measure. Go ahead and zoom in a little bit on that for you so you can see it a little bit better. You also should have your own copy in front of you. Now customary units are what we actually use here in the United States, and metric is pretty much used everywhere else in the world, so that's actually why it's important that we learn both. Metric I actually find is a little bit easier because it's all based on powers of 10, and customary is a little bit more difficult, you know, because we have to be a little bit more difficult apparently. So we're talking about customary units. So basically what we're doing when we're converting units of rate is we're just taking it and just changing it. So 12 inches over 1 foot, so 12 inches equals 1 foot. This is a rate because remember when we have two different things, it's two different ways to state something. It's considered a rate, so I have inches and foot.
Restricted movement has been lifted. The restricted movement has been lifted.
So as we can see, this is 12 inches over 1 foot. Same thing with 16 ounces is 1 pound. So again, that's a rate. It's a unit rate specifically because they have 1 in the denominator. 100 centimeters is the same thing as 1 meter. So this is the same as this. That's why it's over 1. So over here I have a definition. It says each of the relationships can be written as a blank blank. In those blanks you're going to write unit rate. So each of the relationships can be written as a unit rate. So that's actually what we learned about a little bit earlier in this chapter. Like a unit rate, a unit ratio is one in which the denominator is 1 unit. Okay. So we can see over here where it says 12 inches and 1 foot. I'm gonna actually do this so it's a little bit easier for you to see. Okay, a little bit closer for you. It says the numerator and denominator of each of the unit ratios shown are equal. So you can see that 12 inches is the same as 1 foot. So the value of each ratio is 1. Okay. You can convert one rate to an equivalent rate by multiplying by a unit ratio. When you convert rates, you include units. So make sure you always include the units every time you do this. Over here it says the process of including units of measure as factors is called blank blank. In those two blanks you're going to write dimensional analysis. So you're going to write dimensional analysis. Okay. So now we're going to look at one of the problems. So the problem says Greg walks at a speed of 7 feet per second. How many feet per hour is this? So we're changing feet per second, which is what they originally gave us, to feet per hour. We can use 60 seconds equals 1 minute, and you can use 60 minutes equals 1 hour to convert the rates. So they went ahead and did this. They wrote the original rate, 7 feet over 1 second, because that was what they originally gave us, equals 7 feet over 1 second times 60 seconds over 1 minute times 60 minutes over 1 hour. Okay? Because that's what we want to get to. Notice that the only thing that's changing is the seconds per hour. So we always want to make sure we have feet, but we want to make sure that the hours ends up in the bottom because it's feet per hour. So feet should be on top, hours should be on the bottom. Now when we go through and simplify this, you can see that I have the seconds and the seconds. They actually cancel each other out. Same thing with minutes. So all I'm left with is my feet on the top and my hours on the bottom. Now I just multiply everything through. 7 times 60 times 60 over 1 times 1 times 1. And I get 25,200 5,200 feet over 1 hour. Now I want you to try the 3 try it problems, okay? Don't forget to divide out the common units and make sure you show all your work. Go ahead and pause the video now and try the 3 homework problems. All right, now that you've tried the 3 problems, we're gonna go over them together. So the first problem says, a gull can fly at a speed of 22 miles per hour. About how many feet per hour can the gull fly? So the first thing I want to notice is I'm going miles per hour to feet per hour. The thing that is changing is the miles and the feet. Okay? So I want to come back up to my little conversion table here, and I want to look for miles and feet. So it says right here that feet, there's 5,280 feet in 1 mile. So that's actually the conversion that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to go ahead and start writing it out. So the first thing that I want to write is 22 miles per 1 hour. Next, I'm going to multiply this. Now I want feet in the top because that's what the problem asked me for. In the very end, it said feet per hour. So I want to make sure there's feet in the top. So my feet is 5,280 feet, and that's equal to 1 mile. Okay. Now I can see that I have miles and mile, which are the same thing, so they cancel each other out. Now I just multiply straight across. So I'm going to take my calculator and I'm going to do 22 times 5,280. Okay. When I do this, I get 116,160. All I have left in the top is feet. And all I have left in the bottom is hours. So 1 times 1, of course, just gives me 1. So my final answer over here is 116,160 feet per hour. Okay. Now my next problem down here in the bottom left-hand corner says water weighs about 8.34 pounds per gallon. How many ounces per gallon is the weight of the water? So I'm going to underline pounds per gallon, and it's going to change to ounces per gallon. Notice the only thing that's changing is the pounds to the ounces. So that's the conversion that I'm going to look for. So I'm going to go back to my table up here at the top, and I'm going to look for ounces and pounds. Now it says in my table 16 ounces is 1 pound. So that's the conversion rate that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to come over here to my blank page. Okay. And I'm going to write 8.34 pounds per 1 gallon. I'm going to multiply that, and I wanted ounces in the top. So there are 16 ounces in 1 pound, and LBS stands for pounds, just in case you didn't know. Okay. Now I have pounds and pounds, so I can cancel that out, and I'm left with ounces and gallons, which is what I wanted in my original problem. So now I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to take my calculator. I'm going to multiply 8.34 times 16. And I get 133.44. Okay. And that's ounces per gallon. Okay. You want to think about it too. You notice that I have a larger number on top than what I originally started with. Notice that in my table, ounces was the smaller unit. Ounces versus pounds, ounces was smaller. So it makes sense that my answer, 133.44 ounces per gallon, is going to be larger than what my original numbers stated. Okay. So my final answer for that one is 133.44 ounces per gallon. Okay. The last problem I have is a skydiver is falling at about 176 feet per second. How many feet per minute is he falling? So I'm going from feet per second to feet per minute. Notice what's changing are my seconds and my minutes. So I'm gonna go up to my table here and I'm gonna look for seconds and minutes. Now seconds and minutes aren't in my original table, but I do know that there are 60 seconds in 1 minute. So that's the conversion rate I'm going to use. So I come over to my blank page and I write 176 feet per 1 second. That's the original ratio I was given. And I'm going from feet per second to feet per minute. Minutes are in the bottom. So I have 1 minute on the bottom and that equals 60 seconds. My seconds cancel each other out and I multiply straight across. So now I have 176 times 60, okay, and I get 10,560, and that's feet per minute. Okay, and as it says, beware, don't forget to divide out the common units and make sure you show all of your work. This is the best way to make sure you've shown all of your work. So make sure you write your original rate, write your conversion and what you're multiplying it by, and then multiply everything out. Then you can see where you made a mistake if you've made one.